Good day, friends, and welcome back to Grandma's Kitchen. Friends, Grandma come back with an exciting meal again today. Grandma want to just do one of our old-time simple meal. But before Grandma get to do that, I'm welcoming you back again, and I'm asking you please to like, to share, to comment, and also to subscribe to Grandma's Kitchen. Friends, Grandma is billing. She's still billing. She's getting there. I'm a very patient lady, so I'm taking my time and I'm billing. So here we are, friends. I've been cooking. I started my cooking before I bring you here, because as I always said, I don't want to take too much of your time. So today I start with my cornmeal dumpling. I want us to see what Grandma is talking about. Here's our cornmeal dumpling. Our cornmeal dumpling is cooking, and you can see something in there yellow. I'm steaming 2 ripe plantain as usual. And Grandma, I think I have a carrot steaming in there. It's okay to steam all these things together. And here's my oil. I'm heating it because I am going to put all these goodies into it, and you're going to see Grandma's lunch and dinner today. So let's take a good look, friends. Let us continue to watch as Grandma take you through the process. I'm setting up back my camera here as I take you through the process. So I'm gonna go in with all of my vegetables. I'm going to start with my sweet pepper. As you see, I have a lot. Hey, the pan was hot. So I have a lot of the sweet pepper, red and yellow sweet pepper. I have my tomatoes, I have my onions, my white onions and garlic. And friends, Grandma have her cabbage here, but I'm going to put the cabbage in last. So here I am. The pan was very hot today. I was waiting for Grandma. And Grandma have some nice codfish, friends. A good friend gave me some codfish, and Grandma decided to wash the salt out. I also soak it in boiling water, so I get rid of most of the salt, but I still leave some in it so that it would have taste. So Grandma is going to empty this into her saucepan, as usual. And I'm going to fry it up. But friends, all that frying just throw off some oil. And knowing me, I have to get this oil up before I continue. So Grandma is just cleaning up here for a little bit. I'm gonna turn my burner up a little bit more. So as I said, of my dumpling is cooking right now. I did not take you through that process, but I add a cup of all-purpose flour. I also add some cornmeal, a cup of cornmeal, a cup of all-purpose flour, and Grandma knead it together. I show you many times how to put the flour together. I put the cornmeal, the flour, and I also put a cup of water, and I knead it together. While I put the water to boil in the pot, and once it's boiling, Grandma just slip those dumplings into the pot. Because friends, today is a very busy day. Grandma have work today, so I started to show you my stuff before time run out on me. So friends, here is my cabbage. I always tell you about cabbage. So back in the Caribbean, my mom, and now I understand the reason why they do it. It's for health reason, and also was stretching her budget. Because I remember for a family of, I would say, 8 of us, they would buy the codfish. Friends, I'm ashamed to tell you how much they would buy, but they would buy a piece of codfish, and then my mom was very creative. She would have all her trimmings. She would have her sweet pepper, her onions, My mom didn't like garlic. I add garlic. And then they would have cabbage. And if it's not cabbage, it would be maybe the dasheen callaloo. I could be spinach. But this is the way that they used to stretch the meal. So when we are eating, we were partially vegetarian, because sometimes you cannot find that codfish. If some of you know what I meant, some of you who grow up in the late 60s, the early 70s and 80s, we know how our parents used to stretch their dollar. So friends, I'm putting this cabbage in. Doesn't take much time. So I put it in with all of the other stuff, and I'm going to just keep turning it for a little bit. Now mind you, the sweet pepper, the onions, the garlic, and everything else is there. So grandma is going to add just, I'm going to use my measuring cup so I don't get you confused. So this is one of grandma measuring cup, and it's like a half cup. So grandma is going to tip half of this half, which would be a quarter of a little water, to steam the cabbage for a little bit, because cabbage could be a little bit challenging to you have to soften it for a bit, friends. So here we are. I put my cabbage and all the trimmings with it, and the codfish, the salted codfish. I put it to steam, which is going to take us a few minutes, friends, because it doesn't take too long. As grandma said, she already washed the salt out of the codfish, and I boiled the water and soak it in it. So the codfish is practically cooked already. But the trimmings, grandma just want them to just simmer down. So it's like a steaming, so that all the flavors would be together. But here I am with my cornmeal dumpling, friends. My cornmeal dumplings is almost finished. As you can see, I take my time and I put them together. I put the pot with the water to boil, and as soon as I finished kneading the flour, the water was boiling, I just slipped them into there. It doesn't take long to cook, friends. This might take 10-15 minutes. It's flour. Once the water is boiling and you put it in, even 10 minutes, that dumpling is ready. But I would give it a little bit more time. And here I am with this, friends. Look at this colorful meal that grandma is steaming here. As I said, it's almost like a vegetarian meal, just that it have a little salted fish in it. But as I said, my mom was a homemaker, and it was about 8 of us to eat this meal. So friends, they used to have to work magic to stretch the meal so that everybody could get some of it. And as I said, sometimes we didn't see the fish. We'll have most of the vegetables, but we were okay. And now that I realize the meals that they used to make when we were growing up, friends, they were healthy meals. Poor people was having healthy meals because they eat from the garden. They would eat from their garden, and it was very healthy for everybody, friends. It was very healthy for everybody. Very healthy. I am going to stir my codfish with all the... You don't want it to overcook anyhow. You don't want to kill your vegetables. The cabbage, as I said, the cabbage will need a little steaming because the cabbage is more how should I say it? It's a little bit more mature than the other stuff. The sweet pepper, the onions, the garlic, those are easy stuff. But the cabbage is a little bit more mature, as I said. So you have to give the cabbage at least another 2 minutes in this pot, and grandma would show you her delicious, healthy, old-time Caribbean meal. And as you can see, grandma is a product of that meal, friends, because we take our time and we properly cook our stuff. There was no hurry cooking. Sometimes we cooking, it will take us an hour and a half. It depends on what you're cooking. This whole meal, friends, actually it would take you about 40 minutes to top, because you want to make sure by the time you start the process with the dumplings, you put your water to boil. It will take a few minutes for the water to boil. You need your flour, you put it into your pot and give it at least 20 minutes, 25 minutes to cook. And at the same time, you are getting ready to do your codfish to go with it, friends. I told you, we eat a lot of fish in the Caribbean. It wasn't until later on, the late 70s into the 80s, you see all these chicken started to come on the market. Friends, we used to call them the Sunday chickens, because those chickens that I noticed that after a while was on the market, they would grow them in the pen with the lights and give them the feed and the water. And I show there's a lot of those chickens is on the market today. But for us, we used to have what we would call the yard fowl or the hard chicken that I see they have the mature chicken here too. And those ones, that's the one that we were more accustomed to until this quick 6 or 8 weeks chicken come on the market and messed up most of our system. So a lot of us went back to our fish, our cod, our fresh fish. A lot of us start eating most of it, and every now and then, you know, you would have some of that quick chicken, but not too much. You just have to be careful. So friends, here I am. I want you to see my lovely meal, friends. And as Grandma said, I am not killing all the vegetables in this. I still want it to look healthy on the plate. As I said, I wanted the cabbage to saute a bit. And here is our cooked dumpling. It's cooking very nicely. Grandma started it before, so I don't want, when I put it on the plate, some people say, that meal was too quick. No, it wasn't too quick. My dumplings, my plantain, my ripe plantain was cooking before. And as I said, I washed the salt from the cod and I have it soaking in the hot water. So all I need to do was to do a quick stir fry with the vegetables, my sweet pepper, red sweet pepper, yellow sweet pepper. I have my white onions, garlic, and I also slice up a couple slice of cabbage and put it into the pot. And here it look. Look at the look of it, friends. Sorry. It look delicious. It tastes delicious, and it's not a heavy meal. Grandma is showing you it's something quick. You can have it for lunch. You can have it for dinner. Some people would have it for breakfast, but I wouldn't eat this for breakfast. It's either for lunch or dinner. So friends, Grandma is getting ready to plate that meal to show you, because I don't want to kill all that nice juicy vegetable. Grandma don't want to kill it. Grandma just want to show you what she did. So I have some spoon here. I'm going to use one for the dumplings. Might just want to rinse that for a little bit. I'm using one of my spoons for the dumplings. Grandma is going to bring this out to show you what you can have on your plate today for lunch, and also you can have it for dinner as well. Grandma is going to show you. I can slice the plantain. Another thing with plantain, I noticed in North America, people fry a lot of plantain. Friends, you have to be careful with all that oil, because back then, as I said, they taught us the right way. These are the foods that we used to steam. We didn't and friends, you can do something too. I can slice you the dumplings, because if you have a little one that you are going to offer something to, you can help them out a bit. Slice it. At the same time, you're teaching them table manners, so they would be able to take their fork or their spoon and just dig in. So Grandma is dressing this plate up for you. Look at how nice it looks, friends. Look at how nice it looks. At least our vegetables still look whole. So one person would have this meal, friends. I can give you a little juice on it too. One person would have this lovely meal. And Grandma is putting it off the heat for a bit. And I cover it there. So friends, look at the lovely meal that Grandma just prepared. And all this meal could take, as I said, between 30 to 40 minutes, and your dinner is ready or your lunch is ready. So as I said, this is what I have on the menu today. Grandma put most of her veggies in the pan. The cabbage, the sweet pepper. Grandma have her onions, her garlic. A little tomatoes was in it too. Grandma cut them and put them in the pan to stir fry with her cod, salted cod. And I made cornmeal dumpling, as I said. And I steam my ripe plantains, so people can start steaming instead of frying all the time. Grandma get into the habits, not from here, but we always steam most of our food instead of fry. So welcome once more to Grandma's Kitchen and this healthy meal, friends. I'm asking you please to like, to share with your friends, and to subscribe, friends. So I'm gonna give you a nice tour of it still. Look how gorgeous, look how delicious this meal look on the plate, friends. And actually it tastes delicious too. Grandma still have the rest here. I'm going to turn all the burners off. Turning the burners off and showing you the healthy meal. So until then, friends, thank you once more for watching. Thank you for sharing. You can comment. Thank you for all the subscription. Grandma is still billing. As Grandma said, when she retires, she just want to relax and show you guys what she's made of. Thank you once more, friends. Bye now.